not encouraging or advising anyone to modify their firearms. This is for entertainment and educational purposes only. There are many types of 1911 slide stops that have different paddle designs. The paddle design is largely going to be preference. Slide stops will generally be caliber specific, but as far as I can tell, the only difference comes down to the form of the lug that interacts with the magazine follower. If you have any more information on what makes the slide stop caliber specific, please share in the comments. Other manufacturers like Chile will offer slide stops specific to their frames, where the end of the slide stop pin is the correct length to match their frame width. Regardless of caliber, I think the slide stop pin should be 0.1985 to 0.2005 in diameter. The hole in the frame should be 0.201 to 0.203. As far as I know, there are no slide stops specific to single stack or double stack 1911s other than the ones offered by manufacturers to match their specific frames. Slide stops can have thumb rests. This usually defeats the last round lockback function. Some magazine followers won't allow the slide to lock back even with a functional slide stop, so they can fit 1 or 2 more rounds in the magazine. This is generally a competition-oriented thing. A lockback follower needs to be thicker to include the lockback feature. If the pin and hole in the frame are manufactured to spec, then the slide stop and frame should work together. The lower lugs of the barrel are cut to match the diameter of the slide stop pin. In a custom-built pistol, this is a critical relationship to provide tight lockup and maximum accuracy. I covered how the barrel lugs are fit to the slide stop in my barrel fitting video, so I won't rehash that here. Link to that video is in the description. In a production pistol, there will likely be little or no hand fitting of the barrel to the slide stop, so that relationship probably won't be as tight. If you're looking to replace the slide stop on a pistol, try to get one with the same pin diameter as the one you're replacing. This will likely be fine on a production pistol. On a custom pistol, you run the risk of ruining the pin to barrel lug relationship and negatively affecting the tightness of the lockup and accuracy of the pistol. If you have a higher end, more expensive 1911, it's best to leave the slide stop that was fit with the barrel. The rest of this video will be an excerpt from an episode of my 1911 build series, and it deals with fitting and adjusting this end of the slide stop. I was using the slide stop when I fit my barrel. The only thing I really needed there is that the slide stop pin fit in the slide stop pin hole in the frame. Now I need to fit the slide stop to the frame, the slide, magazines, and the plunger at this end. Before I could use my slide stop to fit the barrel, it needed to go all the way through the frame with the slide installed. Sometimes the distance between here and here is too great, and it won't go in between the frame and the slide stop installation notch in the slide. Mine was fine and didn't need any adjustment. I need 20 to 25 thou clearance between the top of the slide stop and the bottom of the slide right here. This clearance is called out in the M1911 Kuhnhausen manual on page 149. I don't have nearly enough. So I need to take material off this little pad on the bottom side so it sits lower in the frame. I reckon that's what this little pad is for. I got 18 thousandths here. Now I'm going to leave that because the slide stop's going to start hitting on the frame ledge down here, and I don't necessarily want to have to take material off the bottom of this if I can avoid it. So 18 is good. I did have to reestablish some radii around the front and back edge of this to make sure it fit the curvature of the cutout in the frame right here. Now that I have the downward position of the slide stop set, I want to dimple the back face of it here so the plunger keeps it in place. There are details about this on page 149 and 150 in the M1911 Kuhnhausen manual. I mark it with something and dimple it barely with a ball cutter in my Dremel. If it's too deep, it may prevent the slide stop from engaging on an empty mag. Too shallow, and it might not keep it in place well enough to prevent false lockback. I install it, hold it down into place, and then mark it with a 3/32 inch drill bit. Sharpie makes it a little bit more obvious. My little diamond tip ball cutter here is about the same diameter as the end of the plunger. Slide stop, plunger and spring assembly, and thumb safety installed. It's held solidly in place in the downward position. When I insert the magazine, it pops it up out of its detent. I cut this one a little too deep, and when I inserted the magazine, it didn't come out of its detent. So what I've done here is just cut a little tail, a little channel coming out of the bottom side of that detent, and that fixed it right up. I would check this action with all the lockback magazines you intend to use. I need to check that I have clearance between the nose of the bullet and this protrusion of the slide stop. If it's too close, a bullet nose could push the slide stop up into place, causing lockback when the mag isn't empty. This is less of an issue on 9mm double stack pistols, but it's still worth checking. Load 2 rounds in all of the magazines you intend to use with the pistol and make sure you have enough clearance right here. I like to make a little ramp into the dimple location. This helps to start depressing the plunger and guides the slide stop in, which may help prevent the idiot scratch. On a double stack frame, there's a ledge here, so it's less likely to happen, but on a single stack frame, it's easy to make the idiot scratch. I've done it. Just cut myself a little slot there with a round file, beveled it. It's really just kind of like one of those quality of life, like ease of reassembly things. It just guides that plunger in perfectly and makes it so much easier to put that slide stop in. The last thing I do is break this little edge right here around that radius, so as it's coming out of the disassembly notch in the slide, it kind of gets guided into that notch.